Every year, amusement parks across the world evaluate themselves against the competition. They look to see where the industry is headed and who is creating the best products, all in the name of trying to boost attendance and guest satisfaction rates. There's many ways they can do this, but one of the most effective methods is to purchase an innovative new roller coaster. 2025 should be another great year for the industry, as not only do we have a handful of great roller coasters opening, but we also have a large number of brand new parks opening in 2025 too, especially in America, which is where the main focus of this video will be. As per usual, I'll be reserving my speculation to just North American parks, as they are where the majority of my knowledge lies. If you're not from America, don't worry, as I plan to release a video later this year ranking all the major new for 2025 roller coasters, which is where you'll see rides like Falcon's Flight, Iron Rattler, and the Dueling Raptors coming to Walibi Holland compared to the rest of the competition. Beyond that, the only main rule that I'll be following is that the coaster projects in question will have to be at least on the scale of a family coaster to be considered for this video. With that said, I'll be placing each park/project in one of three categories: confirmed, likely, and speculation or possible. The first two are pretty self-explanatory, while the third category will encompass parks that are either rumored to get a new roller coaster next year or will likely get a new roller coaster soon, but we don't know what year it'll open in. There's a little bit of a gray area for one or two parks that I'll mention, but I'll dive into that later. We'll first be starting off with the confirmed category. 2025 is unique in that it is supposed to have at least 4 new parks opening in the United States with multiple roller coasters. So I'll start off by listing each one and the coasters that they'll feature. The first and most acclaimed new park opening in 2025 is Universal Studios Epic Universe in Orlando, Florida. There's so much to talk about with this park, but for our purposes today, we'll be sticking to just their roller coasters. The park's largest coaster will be Stardust Racers, which will be a pair of large dueling Mack Rides multi-launch coasters. Mack Rides will also be manufacturing a spinning launch coaster for these parks that will reside in the Dark Universe realm of the park. Hiccup's Wing Gliders will be yet another launch coaster for this park. However, this one will be manufactured by Intamin and will likely be a full-fledged family coaster. Finally, Minecart Madness will be a Donkey Kong themed roller coaster that will present the illusion that the cart is jumping over the tracks, while in reality it is connected to an arm with the track to the side of the cart. Moving on to a park out west, we have Mattel Adventure Park coming to Glendale, Arizona. This park will be themed to the Mattel properties and will be home to 2 Chance Rides roller coasters, the smaller of the two being Hot Wheels Bone Shaker The Ultimate Ride, which will be an 84-foot tall family coaster. The larger of the two will be a launched Hyper GTX called Hot Wheels Twin Mill Racer. This ride will feature 4 inversions and some fast-paced turns and transitions. Heading back eastward, we have Cotoland in Austin, Texas. Cotoland has technically opened to guests a few times in the past with some limited ride offerings, including some smaller coasters, but the official grand opening is supposed to occur in 2025. The good news is, after some delays in relation to obtaining permits, the park's Gerstlauer Infinity Coaster Palindrome is now under construction. This roller coaster will be a shuttle coaster with a couple of inversions, including a stall over the road. Cotoland is also planning to open the world's first Vekoma Tilt Coaster, which will not only feature the aforementioned tilt track element, but a pretty solid layout after the drop as well. The final new park I'll be talking about today is Oasis at Lakeport in Osage Beach, Missouri. Some of the details of this park are still somewhat vague, but we have seen track for 2 Vekoma manufactured roller coasters on site. One of the coasters is a Vekoma family boomerang that has been announced to be called Shootout. This will be at least the 3rd time we've seen this model in America, as Holiday World and Kings Island just opened their own family boomerangs. This park will also feature a Vekoma family suspended coaster. We've already seen quite a few of those coasters in America, and this will be a great complement to the park's family boomerang. Beyond these new parks, there's only 2 parks that we've seen coaster tracks show on site for as of the making of this video. We've known for quite a while that Kings Dominion was looking to find a replacement for Volcano the Blast coaster, and it looks like they'll be getting it next year in the form of a launched B&M Wing coaster. Green B&M track just showed up at the park with the label WI on it, which stands for Wing Coaster. This backs up the excellent work done by KDFans.com to undercover this project nearly 6 months before the track arrived on site. The current rumor is that the coaster will feature 5 inversions and hopefully some solid jungle-esque theming. Another park that has had some fresh coaster track make an appearance is SeaWorld San Antonio. In April, track for a new Zero coaster showed up at the park. We're still not exactly sure what this will be, but there's been some speculation that this could be a dueling reverse coaster like Minifigure Speedway at Legoland Windsor. Another possibility is that this could be the first of the new Discovery launch coaster that the company just teased. Or it could be a larger version of the standard Force model. I definitely guess that this ride will be at least on the scale of a family coaster, as the park already has a smaller Zero Force in Super Grover's Boxcar Derby. This park is definitely in need of more rides and roller coasters for families, so whatever it ends up being should help them out. Next up, we head north of the border for one of the most fascinating 2025 projects, which is the new roller coaster coming to Canada's Wonderland. The park released a survey last summer detailing a potential launch coaster inside of Wonder Mountain. The park appears to be taking this route as they have started construction inside of and around the mountain. This roller coaster is expected to be a launched roller coaster by Premier Rides, which was just uncovered. This is expected to be a high thrill ride with inversions, near misses, and airtime moments. It will certainly be a project I'll eagerly be following as construction progresses. Now heading all the way down to the southern border, let's talk about Six Flags Mexico. Red Vekoma track just showed up at the park, and the rumor currently is that this is Energylandia's canceled Vekoma Tilt coaster. This would make a lot of sense considering that Six Flags has purchased at least 2 canceled projects last year with Flash and Georgia Surfer. From what Energylandia advertised, the ride looked pretty large with a solid layout to follow the drop, similar to Circuit Breaker. This park definitely deserved a larger addition given its popularity, and hopefully the park gets it open as soon as possible. To begin our basically confirmed category, we head back to Virginia for Busch Gardens Williamsburg. There's been a lot of speculation over the last couple of years surrounding Busch Gardens Williamsburg's next coaster, and for a while the leading rumors suggested something much larger. But it now appears that this project has been downsized to a family B&M inverted coaster according to the reliable BGWFans.com, based on plans submitted to James County. Although this ride wasn't necessarily what park fans were hoping for, it appears to be a pretty long ride as it will have 2 lift hills. Many are expecting the theme to pay tribute to the defunct Big Bad Wolf in some way, shape, or form. The reason for this being that the trains for this coaster would likely feature the same swaying element that will be seen on Phoenix Rising at Busch Gardens Tampa, which will be about the closest thing we've seen to a modern day aero suspended coaster. Going a little further south, we head to Charlotte, North Carolina, which is not only the new Six Flags headquarters, but it is also home to Carowinds, where we have a decent sized family coaster opening up very soon. Carowinds is planning an expansion to the Camp Snoopy area of the park, known as Project Sparrow. As part of this expansion, Carowinds is rumored to be receiving an Art Engineering launch coaster, likely to be a clone of Snoopy's Racing Railway at Canada's Wonderland, as the layout matched up with the one shown in the site plan. This ride was pretty awesome for a family coaster when I rode it at Wonderland. There's not too much to say here other than this will be a great coaster for families to enjoy together. Moving to our last park in this category, this was the park that sort of falls into that gray area I alluded to earlier. Back at IAAPA in 2022, Steel Pier, a seaside park in Atlantic City, New Jersey, was announced to be receiving 2 roller coasters from Premier Rides. One of those was a spinning Wild Mouse coaster that will be opening in 2024. The other one was a Skyrocket 2 that was said to be opening in 2025. However, the park replied to a comment asking if this roller coaster was still happening by saying, possibly in the future. So the park never outright stated that this coaster isn't happening or was delayed, but this response doesn't exactly merit much confidence. Maybe the person who responded wasn't aware of the park's current plans, but my best guess would be that this roller coaster will not be opening next year. The years beyond 2025 might be a different story, but that's a conversation for another time. Now let's move into our final category, speculation. My thinking process for this category is to work our way down from the big chain parks to the smaller, family-owned ones. Let's start with Cedar Fair. They've been pretty consistent with investing in only one or two big projects each year, and those always seem to get leaked anyway. We already have Canada's Wonderland and King's Dominion marked down for big new coasters next year, plus the family coaster coming to Carowinds. I think there's a chance a smaller park scores a family coaster or kiddie coaster, but there's not really a great candidate that sticks out to me at the moment. I will say that Cedar Fair has pulled off a couple of surprises in the past few years, like Snoopy's Soapbox Racers at Kings Island, which no one really saw coming, so we'll just have to wait and see what they end up doing. Six Flags is usually much more of a mystery, and that definitely holds true for 2025. Even with the merger looming, this side of the chain is supposedly receiving some larger investments next year. The most heavily rumored park in the chain to be receiving a roller coaster in 2025 is Six Flags Magic Mountain. The park put up a teaser in front of a recently demolished theater which states, "Epic thrills are cycling in." I've heard rumors about Six Flags looking to purchase an Intamin motorbike coaster, and this would certainly fit those rumors. This makes sense as Six Flags is working with Intamin again on Georgia Surfer, going to Six Flags over Georgia. Another park I feel strongly about getting a coaster next year is Six Flags New England. Ground surveys have taken place at the park on Goliath's former plot of land, which isn't very large, but I think it's the perfect size for a small Raptor layout. We also know that there is a cloned Raptor layout coming somewhere in the United States in the near future, and I think this could be the perfect spot. For a park of this size, it's been a long time since it's gotten a major roller coaster, and a Raptor would fit perfectly in the lineup. Another name that has been thrown around is Six Flags Great Adventure. They're opening Flash Vertical Velocity this year, but that was said to be a last-second addition. The current rumor is that a much larger multi-launch coaster, possibly from Intamin, is coming to the park. Six Flags Fiesta Texas has also been smothered with investments over the past few years, and it would not shock me to see a larger coaster come here. Six Flags St. Louis and Six Flags America are both parks long overdue for a large new coaster too. My current guesses are that Six Flags Magic Mountain, Six Flags New England, and at least one smaller park like Six Flags America will receive roller coasters next year. I think we will see at least 3, possibly 4 new coasters from the Six Flags chain in 2025. It looks like the SeaWorld chain will be adding at least 2 new coasters next year. I don't think SeaWorld Orlando will get a coaster for the 4th year in a row, and I think Busch Gardens Tampa is probably gearing up for something bigger in the near future. However, I do think SeaWorld San Diego could be in line for a new coaster. Although they got coasters in 2022 and 2023, the chain has been trying to rapidly increase the number of coasters at all of their parks. San Diego has 5 coasters, while Orlando will have 8 in July, and San Antonio will have 7 by next year. I've heard rumors of a new B&M Surf Coaster or B&M Wing Coaster coming to this park, and I think both of those options make sense. Given the direction the chain is going in, I definitely think another coaster is in the cards for either 2025 or 2026 for this park. I lean more toward 2026 since we haven't seen or heard much about a 2025 coaster for San Diego. As far as some of the smaller or non-chain parks go, the only park that really comes to mind as a candidate is Kentucky Kingdom. There's been some markings all around the back half of the park, and some permit filings have led people to believe that the park's giant swing ride is being moved to another location within the park. This may be to add a direct entrance to Hurricane Bay, but it kinda sounds like there might be something bigger happening here. Herschend hasn't invested much into the park so far, but we've seen some concepts they've come up with that indicate they do plan to make some investments in the future. It seems like a family launch coaster may be in the cards in the near future, and it wouldn't surprise me if they get this in 2025. This would mark 6 years since their last coaster, and I think it would make a lot of sense for them to get a coaster or at least some kind of major investment. But we'll just have to wait and see. 2025 looks to be a strong year for North America. I think we'll be getting a handful of solid thrill coasters with a decent amount of family coasters, which will create a well-rounded roster of new coasters to check out. It's certainly unique to have 4 new parks planning to open their gates in 2025, which will certainly help to add to this already solid lineup. Make sure you subscribe to the channel to keep track of all the new coasters opening next year, and so you'll be able to see my full new for 2025 coaster rankings this winter. 2026 should be another home run as well, so that's all the more reason to keep your eyes peeled. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more of this speculative / informative content in the future, make sure to subscribe. Also, let me know what projects you are most excited for, and what parks you predict to get new roller coasters next year in the comments below. With all that being said, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.